Well, now we've got about 10 minutes to go, and this has been great. I know it's just.
Yeah, I love this. This is great.
I've kind of run out of the really good questions. See, now I go to kind of the silly ones, like this one. Could somebody like me? I'm a 30-ish, 45 old guy who has. I have no rhythm. Could somebody like me just learn rhythm? Develop it over time. I mean, you may not know this because you got it, but I mean, is that something you had?
I don't know. I've always thought, for two things, I've always thought that singing and drumming, that anybody could do if they just put their mind to it and cleared away whatever it is that is preventing them from being able to do that. I don't know whether it's a mindset or what it is, but I think really if you get with somebody, if they're an intelligent human being, I think you can sit with them and you can actually teach them to feel. And when they're taught to feel, I think they'll go, oh my God, I felt this all along. That's a little bolder kind of too, but I think there's really something to that. I think it's in us, you know.
Yeah.
It's heartbeat. Lots of guys talk about that. You know, Mickey Hart, the guy from the Grateful Dead that does all these drum kind of clinics and all having to do with spiritual elevation and stuff like that. I think that's what he talks about a lot, is that it's the heartbeat, and it is this natural thing that we all have. And certainly, you hear about all the tribal stuff, and the little kids. From the time somebody is born in a tribe till the time they die, they're involved with rhythm and drumming and making music.
And you talked about, of course, I sing, or say I sing, and I know what you're saying. I mean, I was a horrible singer growing up. That's okay. But I just decided at one point I was going to be a singer, and I just put all I could into it.
By yourself? No training even?
No training. Just decided I was going to do that and got the feel. It's like, sometimes it does. It took a while, but I know what you're saying. Now, how difficult is it? Do you sing and play at the same time?
Yeah.
Now, there are some great singer-drummers.
There are some great singer-drummers.
Levon Helm.
Levon Helm. Oh, God, I'm so glad you said that. He's really, he's close to my heart. I love Levon Helm.
You didn't ask me what drummer I would be in my group.
What drummer would you be in my group?
Helm.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, man.
Please. Oh, man.
He's so great.
Oh, yes, he is. Oh,
yeah.
But that's got to be hard.
It is, although if the music is pretty much, again, if we're talking about songs that have a real pulse to them and real soul, and they're not really kind of technically challenging kind of things you really got to think about and try hard to achieve on the drums, if you're feeling the drums and you're playing along with it, the vocals is almost just like another extension of the drum, another arm that you're using to play drums. It's just another aspect of that instrument, and you can really, you have to sync this thing up. But it's, again, if you're really feeling it, it's a natural expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not explaining that very well, but
no,
yeah, I don't think it's really hard unless you don't know how to do it and you have a fear about it. But if you just do it for a little bit, I think it becomes the hard part. I think for people is, in general, being vocalists is pitch. Staying in holding your key, holding the note.
Yeah, I don't worry about that so much.
Excellent. Then you'd be a great drummer. Because when you play drums, it's a little bit harder to focus so much on that because you have so much going on. But
yeah. Well, here's another, going someplace else because we got to start wrapping up. But what's your favorite percussion instrument?
Piano. That's a percussion instrument, is what I heard.
That's a good question.
All right, you mean as far as like real drums and stuff like that? Geez, I don't know. My drums, you would think I would love my drums. I hate the sound of my drums, and yet somebody else might have the exact same set that takes care of it a lot better, and it sound beautiful. I'd fall in love with that. So I think it's just whatever situation, if there's a nice instrument there, I might fall. Timpani in the right situation is such a beautiful sounding thing. I'd love that, and yet in another situation, I'd like, I don't want to hear that, So I don't know if I have a favorite percussion instrument per se, but whatever is called for in any situation.
Bill, I do.
You do?
I like the block.
The block.
Like on Petty's. What's that song? Could have been any reason.
Could have been any reason. Is that a cowbell or is it a woodblock?
It's a woodblock.
Is it?
Yeah, woodblock. Yeah.
I like claves too. Actually, that's a wood sound.
What's one of those?
You mean like a ratchet kind of thing? Yeah.
Not a ratchet, but actually.
Well, there's a thing that you know, that like a fish thing with the ribs on it. That's called a guiro, and it's spelled G-U-I-R-O. That thing that goes. That's not it though. Is it something that you crank and it goes?
I can't remember. I tried to look it up before we came today to impress you, but I knew.
I'm impressed anyway.
Have you made peace with electronics?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm in love. Rob's, you know, Rob, down at Rob's Music, he's got this on demo, and anybody can go in and play it. They've got this electronic drum kit. It's they're called V-drums. They're the most expensive kind you can buy now, pretty much, and they're beautiful. They're wonderful. They sound. You can get a million sounds. You can dial them in, get exactly the sound you want, with power, with real clarity of each individual sound, and you can play along on this kit. You can play along with pre-recorded drum or pre-recorded tracks where a whole funky band is playing with no drums, and you just play along with it. It's the greatest asset to practicing for any drummer that I've run into. It's like $5,000, but what a great thing. And it's electronic, and I have fallen in love with it. Yeah, I have no problem.
Do you have any problem with the little machines and groove boxes and all that?
You know, I think they all can be used in the right situation in a wonderful way, a highly complementary way to any music you're playing. I think sometimes people abuse them as well. You know, you get guys in there that aren't really drummers, and they buy these machines and they make their demos and they do all these things that really can't be done by a human drummer, stuff that's just, you know, from another planet, and it kind of sometimes it's a little too much clutter, like we go through here, you know, with the TV stuff. You can do the same thing with too many effects. It's that, but I think, you know, used in the right way for the right situation, I think they're a great adjunct. Is that a word? Adjunct.
There you go. Now, Ringo,
my hero,
said that drumming is his madness. Now, Bill Brennan, drumming is your
passionate downfall. I don't know what it is. Was that going to be like the end? And that's
close to the end. We have a couple more minutes. Well, great, Bill. Thank you so much for coming today. There's a couple more things to go through here, but I really appreciate you giving us some insight into drumming, which, you know, a lot of people just, you know, don't think about it. But without drums, where would rock and roll be?
You know, and they say, do I have time to say this?
Sure.
They say that, you know, you take a great band and you put a crummy drummer in there and the band's going to sound crummy, and I think it's true. You take maybe not a horrible band, but you take a band that's not so good and you put a great drummer with them, it's going to elevate that band to some kind of certainly acceptable status and probably well-liked status. You know, that's the way it works with drums.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, I always want to start a band or get a studio situation going, and then one musician I would start with is drummers.
Really?
Absolutely.
That's a good
because
foundation.
When I write songs, even though I write with keyboards and guitar a little bit, I really think about drums all the time.
I've heard your CD, and I think you have very interesting ideas about your drumming. I think it's great. I really like your drumming on that CD. Bergey, what's it called?
Andythology.
The Bergey Meister.
Yeah. I'm going to play, as we go out here, a song by a group called, and this is, again, I didn't want to play drummers we all know and love. We can do that at home. But Mick Tucker of Sweet.
Sweet?
Sweet, yes.
Sweet!
Let's hear this. Let's see if I get this right. This is a song called Into the Night.
Cool, I love that kind of sound.
He had this sound. This is kind of one of the sounds he put for Sweet every once in a while. He'd throw it in there. Let's see if I can fast forward to the cooler part. Yeah.
God, it's a rock flavor he's playing, but you know that snare drum thing. Using two hands on the snare drum is kind of.
I know it's a simple.
Well, no, it's like a New Orleans kind of thing. That's the way a lot of those guys play in those what do they call that, second line stuff, you know? They do that two hands on the snare thing. I think it's really a great sound.
But I kind of feel like in the context of almost heavy rock that Sweet did at this point, it's pretty brave of him to come forward with something like that.
Yeah. Is that old?
Yeah. Hey, we gotta go. We're gonna keep talking about this all time. Yeah, old 74.
Bro, it's ancient.
See you next time. The Drummer's Nice. Every Monday at what time?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. There it is, man.